Hi guys, welcome back. Right, we have got a bit of a special one here at the moment. I've sort of talked myself into it. We're just going to crack onto it. But I've pulled out games from every single system that I own that I have really enjoyed playing. Let's get into it. Well, I hope you've got a brew ready. I haven't got a clue how long this is going to take. We are going to be here some time because we're starting our journey. I haven't got anything you'll be happy to know from the first generation. I'm not that old. Technically I am, but my collecting actually starts with the second generation, so we are going as far back as 1976. Now I know for a lot of you out there, that's probably before you were born. Back in 1976, I'd be 5. That's how old I was. But anyway, we're going to kickstart this off with, I suppose, two of the systems that almost started the craze, as it were, back in the day. And the ColecoVision. This one is actually for the ColecoVision and Adam. I think the Adam is a plug-in RAM expansion off the top of my head. But anyway, it's an absolute classic from Nintendo on the ColecoVision. Who'd have thought back then? Donkey Kong. If you don't know what Donkey Kong is, I suggest you Google it. I suggest you watch it. But it's a very faithful reproduction from the actual arcade machine itself. It's a brilliant game. Challenging. You've got to work your way up to the levels and hopefully save the girl. But, oh, and there's something for you. Am I right in saying it's the very first game that Mario was in? Yep, the plumber, same guy. Yep, that's him. So that's the first one out of the way. Right, second game. I've had this game for a long time, loose cart anyway, but I recently picked up the box for it and it was a minter. I was so happy to pick this one up. And it's Hero. Hero, sorry about the glare. Hero is a fantastic game on the 2600. Basically, you are a helicopter pilot, but you're not in a helicopter. You've got the chopper strapped to your back, and you've got to work your way down the mines, going through obstacles, and rescue the person at the end. It does turn into a memory game at the end of the day, but this is such a good game, a brilliant game.
If you own ColecoVision, you already own a powerful state-of-the-art computer that gives you the arcade experience with the newest arcade games like Donkey Kong Jr., Looping, Pepper 2, Time Pilot, Mr. Do, Space Fury, Frontline, arcade controls like Turbo, the Roller Controller, and new Super Action Sports. And soon you'll plug in Atom, the revolutionary ColecoVision family computer module with new super games, keyboard, and printer. ColecoVision, the only system you'll ever need.
Right, we're going to move on now to, I think, round about the second generation. Now, this is where things may start to mix up a little bit, purely because I've not looked up, because I was a big computer guy back in the day. When I say computers, I mean Commodore 64. That was really the first system that started it off for me. But anyway, I'm just grabbing these because there's quite a few. We'll start with the 48K ZX Spectrum. And the game I picked from there, oh my god, the hours spent playing this. It's Stuart and Richard's House, Night Law. Oh, this is a fantastic game. Tons of problem solving, and certainly one you should be checking out if you've never played it before. I think it did come out on Xbox One. I'm looking up there because I know that's where I've got it. I think it's something like a retro replay. You could play that game on a modern console. Absolutely fantastic. we dive straight over to the Commodore 64 and a game that was critically acclaimed when it first came out. It was from Beyond Software at the time. It's a simple game now by today's standards. Or Fred Baker, I think it was, who did the music, and it's brilliant. I've actually got that on my channel if you ever want to check that out. But it is Shadow Fire. What a fantastic game. The whole idea is you're an elite squad. You've got to go through the levels. You've got to find, I think there's terrorist, I suppose, for one word. And you've got to capture him, and it's as simple as that. But it is a brilliant game. Well worth checking that one out. Sticking with the Commodore, because even though the Commodore did bring games out on tape and floppy disk, they also brought them out on cartridge. And I did get myself a lozenge. I'm looking up there at it. The lozenge. Go and check that out. Go and see what it was. That was Commodore's very first failed console. But I just picked Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Now, if you weren't sure of what the cartridges look like on that, there you go. This was a fun game when it first came out. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously ties in with the film as well, but a game I really enjoyed back in the day. Right, moving on upwards slightly, we've got the Atari 7800. Now, I've just picked a really simple game. It's just a pick-up, play, fun game. Food fight. I've not got many cases for the 7800 in all fairness. I'm concentrating a bit more on the 2600 at the moment. But certainly a fun one. Definitely worth your time. Right, what also came out in that era? I think the Vectrex was round about then. Now I've picked Starship. Starship for the Vectrex. Again, sorry for the glare. I'm trying to remember what this game is. I know it was a fun one, and I had been playing it probably about 6 months ago now. But there's a lot of the Vectrex games are just great fun. Vectrex graphics, very simple, straight white lines, 9 times out of 10. That's all you get. Definitely worth playing. Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, this is it a cheat? Isn't it a cheat? It is in some regards, because it is one of my most favourite games. And this is a game that originally came out on the BBC Electron. I don't own that computer whatsoever. I don't have any games for that computer. But I hammered this game back in the day on the Commodore 64. The NES got a very good port of it, and that is Elite. This is probably one of the first ever, shall we say true? I think there was an earlier example. It's vector graphics, it is 3D, it is fantastic. It's a space exploration, flight simulation. And it is brilliant. I wasted so many hours playing this with my old friend Kenny Paul. God bless him. Oh man, the memories of this. Especially when you were trying to dock on the station for the first time when you didn't have a docking computer. That was an absolute nightmare. Master System. Again, this is a game really I played more on the Commodore 64, but again, this is such a good port of it. And I've picked, oh yes, The Prince of Persia. This is a brilliant game. You've got a time limit, you've got to work your way through the levels, you've got to save the princess. Exploration at its best, it's got fighting in it. There's a little bit of problem solving, but it is a fantastic platform game. You really should be checking that out. Right, let's give it a quick pause.
Oh, isn't life dull?
What we need is a Sega. That's a good
games console. Plug me in and things will really liven up. You can get loads of Sega games like Outrun, Double Dragon, Shinobi, Ghostbusters,
And the graphics, well,
and you can buy extra bits like these.
3D.
Oh, you look
Weird.
Okay, do us a favour. Plug me into a Sega.
Now whack on the patches and I'll get back to sleep.
Right, we're back with every game from every system that I own. Now, we're going to delve into this even further. I'm going to quickly check to see what generation I'm supposed to be on now. I think this is generation 4. Yep, because the last one was generation 3. So this should be generation 4. Now, there's one of the games in here that I'm not 100% certain on. I'll just quickly tap the computer because it tried to go off. I can remember playing it. I know it's a Bomberman game, I know it is, but I'm not sure if it was this generation. It's a Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy. Not a lot of people collect for this. I actually collect very little. There's only a few games for this. It's not a massive library. Everything is in red. But this particular Bomberman plays more like Tetris, in all fairness. But it's a fun game. You certainly lose hours playing that one. Moving on to, and I am just trying to put these in a little bit of a better order for myself. We'll go to the Mega Drive, come Genesis. And incidentally, there is a few heavy hitters in this. A few heavy hitters. And this is certainly one of them. It's the best version of the game on the system. It is the only version of the game on the system. But it is an absolute fantastic port. The music is incredible. It's Castlevania, the new generation. What a game this is. It just carries on where it picks off almost from the NES version. But this is such a fantastic game. Again, platforming at its best. And some of the boss fights in there are absolutely incredible. One you should be checking out. I'm going to put that up there because I'm going to get stuck and lost here in a minute. Carrying on with that sort of generation, 32X. It's a game, I just enjoy playing it. There's nothing special about it. It's just racing. It's motocross. That's all it is. That's all it is. Not a lot of people collect for this system either. A little bit obscure in some regards. Probably the only place you can find the games half the time are at fairs or on Fleabay. But it is what it is. Let's do that one. We'll do that one. Let's get that one out of the way. The GX 4000. Do you know what? Activision's failed console. Sorry, not Activision. It was Amstrad, you know. Amstrad's failed console. The first and last console they ever produced. Came in the biggest boxes you've ever seen for such a small cartridge. That's it. That's all it is. Came out way too late. Everybody was moving on to 16-bit. This was 8-bit. But the games are pretty good on it. I mean, I picked Operation Thunderbolt, Operation Wolf if you like. It's a fun game still. And still a good one I do enjoy playing occasionally. We're going to dive now to the Super Nintendo. The SNES, if you like. And I went with Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Again, fantastic game. Hard as nails, as you all know. It's action platforming, again at its best. Music is fantastic, very memorable, but it's one of the hardest games you will ever play. Sticking with that system, the Super Famicom. I went with Jackie Crush. Oh, fantastic pinball game. Loads of fun. If you're into your pinball, check out Jackie Crush. Also came out on, I think it was the TurboGrafx 16 PC Engine, that sort of thing. Definitely worth your time. Right, grabbing these. Right, we are going to now the TurboGrafx 16 and the PC Engine. Now for the TurboGrafx 16, I've picked a shooter which has come out on many, many ports, but this is a really good one. R-Type. You all know R-Type. It's one of the best iconic shooters of that era. They still make these sort of games today. They're absolutely fantastic. Quite easily a very good pick up and play shooter. But for the PC Engine, I picked up Street Fighter 2. So the PC Engine was more or less the Japanese version. I think it did get the European release as well, didn't it? Or was that TurboGrafx? I can't remember off the top of my head now. But this is a fantastic port. One of the best fighting games you'll ever play of that time and of that generation. Definitely worth a go. We're going to now dive over to the Mega CD. So, if you know your systems and you know your consoles, basically you had your Mega Drive or your Genesis. Underneath that you'd have your Mega CD, and on top of that you would have had your 32X, which would have given you your pyramid of power back in the day. But the Mega CD, there's not a huge amount of games out for that system, I don't think. But I picked one that, do you know what? It was just brilliant. It was tons of fun. Star Wars Rebel Assault. A game I've thoroughly enjoyed on that system. Moving over now to, I tell you what, we'll do that one first. The Amiga. The Amiga. Because that was out round about then. 85-ish off the top of my head, 1985-ish, something around about that big one. But the game I picked is absolute fantastic point and click goodness. And I've gone with Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. This is fantastic. One of the best point and click games you will ever play of that generation, and definitely something that is worth your time if you are into those sort of games. The humour is brilliant. The puzzles are fantastic. It's just a really, really good game. Right, we've got two more games coming from that generation that I've got, and I'm going to go straight over to the Neo Geo. I've not got the original case for this. It's the big box. Yes, it's for the MVS. Have I got that right? Have I got that right? MVS, I have got it right. So basically, there we go. Wouldn't be one of my videos if I wasn't throwing something across the room. Thankfully, it's a dirty great big cartridge, because this is a big cartridge. So, the MVS systems are basically cheaper cartridges. Were these the these are the cartridges that were used in the actual arcade machines. The actual Neo Geo system itself uses a slightly different cartridge. I've got a converted arcade machine. This is number 58377, 1992, SNK Corp, and it is Fatal Fury 2. It is a massive cartridge that you would literally slot in. To put it into context, and we'll use a CD cover. There you go. So the game was fully on this. Fatal Fury 2, fantastic fighting game. Just brilliant, really worth your time. And the last one, it's for the Neo Geo CD. The Neo Geo CD, the games are identical. In fact, in some cases they do offer slightly better graphics, but the music is certainly CD quality. The downside is they take forever to load. Where the cartridge is instantaneous, the CDs take a while. Now, this is Samurai Spirits. It's basically like Samurai Shodown. It's basically what it is. A fantastic fighting game, this. Absolutely epic. Such a brilliant game. Really do enjoy collecting for the Neo Geo. Not bought anything for quite some time now. Right, we're going to give it another pause. because we've got an absolute ruck left to show and I need to take another few scoops of coffee. Back in a mo.
On main viewer now, Captain. It appears to have dual control pedals. Plus, it's powered by ROM cartridge. Scan reveals lifelike picture. Plus, stereo sound. Captain, where did that thing come from?
The GX 4000 Games Console from Amstrad at £99. Where else could it come from?
Right, here we go again. Carrying on. We're now on to 5th generation. Round about the 5th generation. So you're talking round about the 1993s upwards. In fact, it goes as high as 2006. That's how long they were making systems for this generation. I've got a nice selection of games here. Now, because I'm not entirely sure about the handhelds, I'm going to get them out of the way first. And Game Boy. Game Boy. This is the Japanese version because it's the better version. Tetris. You've got to have a Tetris game for the Game Boy. You really do. You must have one. If you've never played Tetris, designed by a Russian scientist, it's brilliant. In fact, I think the latest version came out on the PlayStation VR. I can't remember exactly the full title, but it obviously has Tetris in it. But it's a really fun game. Challenging game as well when the levels go on. I also threw in there, because I forgot I had it. I forgot I had this, sorry. I had it. That doesn't even sound right, will it? Grand Theft Auto? And I'm sorry, that went blurry as buggery then, but Grand Theft Auto on the Game Boy. It actually plays very, very well. So a little bit of an extra one there. Game Gear. I went with a fantastic platform game. Lion King. It's a brilliant game. It's a really good platformer. One you should be checking out. And for this one, the Game Boy Advanced, I went with an absolute classic shooter. Brilliant game. Again, a game that I've thoroughly enjoyed playing on many systems now. I know you can't see that. It's Doom. Doom. Now, knowing that I've done this, I know I've not got anything from the DS out because I can't find it. I have to got a lot of my games in storage, so DS is certainly a system I'm not showing at this moment in time. Boo. Right. Engage. Bit of a heavy hitter, this one. The Elder Scrolls Travels Shadow Key. This is an expensive game. It just comes out on very simple little cartridges. This is complete. Can't get over how much this game actually sells for these days. I picked this up so cheaply. Very happy to put that into the collection. One of the heaviest hitters for that system. I've got a few of them. I've not got a huge library on this one, but not a big system to collect for. And of course, the N-Gage, as you all know, is the phone that they tried to also play games on. And what do we do these days? We play games on our phones. So, very forward thinking of them at the time, but the technology wasn't quite there. It really wasn't. Right, Sega Saturn. Now, this is certainly not the best game on the system, but it is one of the best first-person shooters that I have played on that system. It got a remake recently. No, sorry, not a remake. Got a remaster recently for the PlayStation 4. I think it did also come out on the Xbox One. I picked it up on that, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I can't for the life of me at this moment in time remember what the PlayStation version is called because it comes under a different name. But anyway, Exhumed. This is an absolute cracking first-person shooter and one you should be playing. You really should. You need to be giving that a go. N64. Again, it's a first-person shooter. it's a game I thoroughly enjoyed playing on the N64. But I went with Turok Rage Wars. Not the best game, not the best game by far, but a fun one. I really enjoyed playing this. Turok. Great series, by the way. Right, we've got the Jaguar, we've got the CDI, we've got the 3DO, and we've got the Amiga CD32. I'm going to get the big one out of the way first. The big one. When I say big one, it's the big box. The Philips CDI. Now, when I first played this game, excuse me, when I first played this game, it was at the arcades, and I was just wowed by it at the time. It's all video gameplay, you know, it's actual live actors, as it were, and it's just a shooting game. Mad Dog McCree. This is the version with the Peacemaker revolver. It's a massive case. It is probably, out of all of the ports on all the consoles, this is the closest. It's extremely accurate to the arcade. Extremely. It's the closest. But it doesn't play as well as the 3DO version. The 3DO plays better, but the graphics are nowhere near as good. I had such a good blast playing this. The Philips CDI is such an ill-fated console. There is some good games on it, and you know, this, and certainly who's that other one I'm thinking of? Who Shot Johnny Rock? I think it was. It's another great shooting game. Certainly one you should check out if you can try and pick yourself up a console and get into the Philips CDI. Right, the 3DO. This is by far the best port of this game on any system. You will not play this game better on anything else, and it is an absolute classic. People have been raving about this game now for donkey's years, and it's Road Rash. Just a brilliant game. Brilliant game. I'm just looking at it now and getting goosebumps. I updated my version some time ago. Fantastic motorbike racing where you basically kick, punch people as you're going along to obviously get ahead of them. You get chased by the police as well. You've got to watch the oncoming traffic. You've got so many different cities to go through. This just plays absolutely fantastic. I think it came out on the PS1. I know it came out on the Mega Drive. I think it also came out on the PC and many other systems. But this is by far the best port and the one you should be playing. Right, Amiga CD32. Now, David plays games badly. You mentioned this one, mate, and I had it. And it is a game I played more on the actual computer rather than the console, the Amiga CD32. But it is such a good game, I wanted to give it more than just a mention. And Pirates, Sid Meier's Pirates. This is the gold edition. You know, if you've not got this in your collection, David, you need to sort it. But that is just a fantastic, definitely, even by today's standards, one of the best pirate games you will ever play. And this should quite easily make anyone's top 5, top 10 at least. It's such a fantastic game. You know, you go sailing around the Caribbean, constantly plundering, attacking cities, looking for hidden treasure, sinking ships. A fantastic game. The Jaguar. Who remembers the Atari Jaguar? I have got what is probably the best game on the system, which is Aliens. It's the Alien game. But for the life of me, I can't find it. So I picked this. This is also an absolute classic. It plays fantastic. There's hardly any slowdown whatsoever, and certainly, dare I say, the very first first-person shooter, because it wasn't Doom. The very first-person shooter was Wolfenstein, as you all know. This isn't that. This is Wolfenstein 3D. This is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. One of the best first-person shooters you will ever play, again of that generation, and another game you should be checking out. Right, we're now starting to get to the more modern systems. And when I say modern systems, we're talking the PlayStation 2. Ooh, you know what? That's just reminded me. We've not shown anything from the PS1. I better put that right straight away.
Have you experienced the awesome power of the Panasonic Real 3DO system? Obviously. The intense realism of Panasonic Real 3DO. Apparently. Or the mind-blowing graphics of Panasonic Real 3DO. Definitely.
Cool.
The Real 3DO system from Panasonic.
I know, David, it's not called that, it's called the PlayStation. I am fully aware, but I have to occasionally say it was the PS1. Anyway, the game I picked for that is quite literally the best driving game of that generation. And you all know what that is. It's Gran Turismo 2. There was so much work put into this game, it is untrue. It is incredible. It still plays extremely well, even by today's standards. It is most certainly the achievement. It was groundbreaking back in the day, and because of the work that they put in, it still plays exceptionally well by today's standards. It is definitely a driving game that you have never picked up and played. You really need to. You really need to.
Hello, citizens of Europe. As spokesperson for SAPS, the Society Against PlayStation, I'd like to talk to you about a menace threatening humanity. It's happening right here, in our very homes, and corrupting the lives of our loved ones. Yes, friends, I'm talking about this. It may look like a harmless bagel toaster, but inside is a deadly donut. How do you know PlayStation is not a normal game system? It carries these telltale signs. Scientists say its effects are mind-boggling. Users lose all sense of reality and enter another world. Here we have a normal, healthy young man. And here we have a fellow who's been experimenting with PlayStation for only a few minutes. Proof that we saps must be on our guard. Remember, do not underestimate the power of PlayStation.
Right, now we've got that generation out the way. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's some good games here. We're going to crack on with the handheld first. Because again, I'm not entirely sure where the handhelds would lie. I think I've got this one right anyway. We're going to dive in with the PSP straight away. And again, I suppose I'm cheating a little bit because this... Well, aren't I? Yeah, I suppose it did come out on other systems earlier as well. But, James, I think you'll get a kick out of this one. Sega Rally. Sega Rally for the PSP. PSP, fantastic system, fantastic handheld. They went with the mini discs, as we all know, or rather, they called them the UMDs. And you could watch films on it. Films on this little handheld, which was it groundbreaking? I think it was at the time. I can't remember any other system beforehand that would allow you to actually play films. So this was brilliant. But Sega Rally, what a classic. An absolute fantastic arcade racing game. Right, we'll dive into, and I'll put these into sort of order. Because I think that's right. Yes, I think that's right. We'll kick off with the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast, for me, really is a fantastic system. There are so many good games. I've enjoyed collecting heavily for this system over the years now. It's got so many gems. It's got so many games that play best on that system, and I've picked one of them. But back in the day, I played this on the PlayStation. I didn't own a Dreamcast back then, let's be honest. But I've thoroughly enjoyed playing this one again, because this is the best version. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Now, if you remember your Lara Croft games back in the day, this is that, but with vampires. Fantastic puzzle-solving, action platforming at its best. And the second game in the Legacy of Kain series. The Legacy of Kain series is something that really needs to be remade and or remastered or whatever. Every single game is an absolute gem. The storyline and the storytelling is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, and one game you should be playing. Right, PlayStation 2. Now, this is a third-person shooting game, action, puzzle solving. Almost, it is linear, but it feels like an open world at times. The bit that shocks me still today is the fact that nobody has ever made, another game from this film, from this game. Nobody. We've only got the one, and this is it. And it's brilliant. It picks up where the first film finishes off. And it's a great survival horror game, I suppose we could call it. The Thing. Oh, so many hours. It actually is a game I've never completed. I've got almost to the end, and I got stuck on a set of stairs with hardly any life and no saves to go back to. And because of that, I've never bothered picking it up and playing it again since, because I saw my arse that much with myself. But it is a brilliant game. It is one that I will complete at some point. But a fantastic game. And we've never had another one. Why? Why not? It's crying out for a game, surely. Maybe a remake of this one would be fantastic. GameCube. Oh, GameCube. This is the game that made me buy a GameCube. There was two reasons at the time. One, because it was the adapter. There was a Game Boy adapter you could put at the bottom of your GameCube, and then you could play your Game Boy games on the big screen. So that was one reason. And this, when I saw it, it took my breath away. It was absolutely fantastic. It looked incredible. It took me straight back to the films, made me feel like a kid all over again. And it's quite literally Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2. This is a fantastic, well, it's not quite a flying simulation. It's got that arcade feel, certainly, but it looks so good. It is untrue. You can play this on your Wii because the Wii was backward compatible, but in all fairness, play it on your GameCube. Your GameCube actually has the better graphic resolutions and that settings on it. It's worth just playing it on your GameCube. But an absolute fantastic game, and I'm just looking at the back of it now. Oh my word, I'm getting goosebumps. Such a good game. Such a good game. Excuse me. Let's take a quick swig, last bit of my coffee before it goes cold. Right, the Xbox. And I've picked a game which is still quite literally only on Xbox. You can't play this on the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the Series S or X, and probably any future system they ever bring out. Because you need to have the joystick, and it's got the world's biggest, baddest joystick you have ever seen. If you haven't got that, you cannot play the game. End of. Steel Battalion. Mech simulation. fantastic. The joystick is, it's probably wider than I can actually make the screen, but it is massive, and you literally have to start the mech up by flicking all the switches, and then you start moving the mech by pushing everything forward using your joystick. You've got all sorts of buttons. You've even got an escape button to, you know, if you're about to explode, ejector seat will go. This is a fantastic game. I've not played it now for such a long time. I also do have the second game. They only made 2. I really wish they'd come out with something where you could adapt that joystick to a modern system and allow you to play it. It's crying out for that, surely. The joystick, oh my god, it is, like I say, it's just absolutely massive. It really is. It's so big, you have to put it together and then away you go. But this is such a fantastic mech game. It really is. You could, I've seen people do online play with this. Loads of people all set up with their Xbox Ones playing away. Such a fantastic game, and I really do wish that Microsoft had stuck with the Xbox, the original Xbox, for longer than they did. But no, I think they dropped it a little bit too early and they dived into the Xbox 360. But let's be honest, the Xbox 360 is by far their best console to date. Right, we're going to give it another pause before we move on to our next generation. Right, I think we're down. Are we down to last 3 generations, in all fairness? And let me just... Oh, because we are now... We're on to the Xbox 360, Generation 7. Generation 7. 2005 that started. Oh my god, it's almost 20 years ago. Where did the time go, guys? Where did the time go? Anyway, I digress. I'll start off with the Wii. I've put the Wii in this generation purely because that's what it shows me on the screen, in all fairness. But I'm not even going to start with that first. I'm going to start with the PS Vita. Now, I picked this particular one and I put it in this generation because I think I'm round about right-ish with that. But it's a brilliant game from a brilliant series. The series originally started off on the PlayStation 2, that's where I first played it. Came out the PlayStation 3, and I'm sure we got a PS4. But anyway, Resistance Burning Skies for the PS Vita plays exceptionally well. A fantastic FPS, another one you should be checking out. Right, let's dive into the Wii. The Wii, oh my word. Talk about a system which was an absolute hit for Nintendo. Now, up till the Wii, Nintendo wasn't even blowing hot. I'd say it was blowing cold. I'd say every system since maybe the NES and the SNES, every system after that was not doing well for Nintendo. Not one little bit. I would actually say that at some point they were also they were in a bit of trouble. They needed a knockout system, and the Wii landed just at the right time. The Wii is probably one of the very few systems out there where the entire family could basically pick up and play, and there were so many good games that came out for the family to play. What I liked about it was you could actually play shooting the games again on a modern screen, and it felt like those classic games, and the one I've picked is an absolute brilliant gem. There's a lot of really, the profanity in some of this, the swearing is off the chart at times, but you know what, it's such a good game. And it is the House of the Dead Overkill I've picked. It's such a good game. They had many a good game on that system that were unique to that system as well, but this is a really good one. If you've never played any of the House of the Dead games, you really need to. Best way to play this on certainly a modern TV these days is through your Wii U. Right, Xbox 360. And the game I've picked for this one, there's so many good games on the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 is the console that really did give PlayStation a run for its money. A proper run for its money. Let's be honest, when the PS3 came out, even though it had all the backward capabilities of the PS1, PS2 that you could play on it, it didn't do well. It didn't do well one little bit. And the Xbox 360 was stealing the show. It shot so far ahead. Some people still claim that the Xbox 360 did sell out the PS3. It didn't. It did come back in its later years, and it didn't wipe the floor with it. Not one little bit. It only just overtook it. Only just. But the Xbox 360, in my mind, is the best. The best console generation that Microsoft have ever produced. I'm sorry. The Xbox was fantastic. I still say they should have stuck with it. The Xbox 360 was a proper knock it out of the park system. The systems after that, they're just flops. Every single one of them. They are. Even though I do own them, they are flops. But anyway, back to this. Blue Dragon. Oh my word, Blue Dragon. Now, I can't remember the guy's name, but if you enjoy your classic Final Fantasy games, this is the game for you. This is the game to pick up, because the guy that created all those classic Final Fantasy games, yep, this is his game. It's a brilliant open world classic RPG. The fighting is classic turn-based, and the whole idea and the whole premise is that you and your friend are going to go across the world, and is it the evil emperor or the evil king? I can't remember now off the top of my head. You're basically going to challenge him. Fantastic game. It goes on almost forever. I wish it would. Brilliant. Something you should be into. Something you should be playing. Right, the PS3. PS3 had a lot of good titles on it. There's plenty of hidden gems on that system as well as the 360. So many. And there were so many I could have picked from. You know, I'm looking over at my wall now. I could have picked Fear, I could have picked The Last of Us, I could have picked Fallout. Oh my God, I could have picked Far Cry 2, and I really do like that game. But the game I ended up going with, and this is the special edition. I've got the game more than once. I've got a proper collectible up on my shelf there, but I really did enjoy this. I really did enjoy this, and I'm just stalling a little bit because I'm trying to work out who brought the damn game out, but I can't. Quantum, is it Quantum Dreams? That was it. I think that was it. Anyway, Beyond Two Souls, Steelbook Edition. Absolutely plays fantastic. Basically, you've got an entity that follows you, because I'm not going to ruin it, I'm not going to tell you about the twist at the end, but this entity just helps you throughout your life. Aiden, I think his name was, and it's about you growing up, people realising that you have got special abilities, but really the special abilities are all Aiden, this spirit. And it's a brilliant game of exploration, but I think it's more of exploration about you yourself more than anything else, and the challenges that you have to go through throughout your entire life. but a brilliant game. A really fun one. One that I've really enjoyed. Right. Have I messed that up? No, I haven't. Right. We're on to the 8th. Almost on to our final. In fact, I've just realised I've got a game missing. There it is. Right, we've found it. Am I putting it in the right place? Yes, I am. I am. Right, okay. So, we're going to kickstart with the ill-fated Wii U. Oh, Nintendo, what were you thinking? The Wii U, when you look at it and you look at the system, you can understand, I think, where they were trying to go to. And with the Switch, they certainly did nail it. The Wii U is probably by far Nintendo worst console. And I say that, and I'd say it was all their fault. When the Wii U came out, it was never marketed correctly by Nintendo. I thought it was a Wii add-on. That's all I thought it was. I didn't realise it was actually a new console. Didn't have a clue. So I think Nintendo failed themselves with this system. It was a step in the right direction, but I also don't think it offered that much more benefit than what the Wii was actually offering at the time. Apart from it was easy HDMI out, and maybe it was an upscale in graphics and capability. But apart from that, it was just another Wii. Let's be honest. But the game I picked for that one is Project Zero: The Maiden of Blackwater. And the reason why I've picked this is because in the game you have to use the camera obscure, and the handheld that you've got, I say handheld, it's not the actual system, the controller, it has a screen on it, so it's almost like a, excuse me, it's like a Switch basically, except you can only use it indoors, you can't use it outdoors. And you can basically angle it all round like that and take pictures. So it acts like a camera, and this makes this game absolutely fantastic for that. The game has since come out on other systems, it's come out on the PS4 and so on and so forth, but I still say that this is best played, if you can, on the Wii U, which I think is actually a brilliant console, and a console that really, I think it demands more of your time. It's got some cracking games on it. There's a game on it that, oh god, it's a futuristic racer, and it's absolutely incredible. I can't remember the name of it now off the top of my head, but there's plenty of games on that system that are worth checking out. Right, Xbox One. Very little games for this. I originally picked up an Xbox One because of Microsoft's backward capabilities, and I thought, you know what, that's absolutely fantastic. I'll be able to play all those Xbox games on the Xbox One. Just makes it easier for me because the original Xbox did not have a HDMI out. But they've since dropped that, haven't they? You know, what a shame. They seem to do so much right, and then they just change their mind and give up the ghost. And I don't understand Microsoft and the Xbox team at this moment in time. I really don't. But that's their problems, not mine. But anyway, I picked Halo because Halo is a fantastic game on that system, and it's the Master Chief Collection. It's the best way to play those original Halo games. Plays absolutely outstanding. You can play this also on the Xbox Series X. It's just a fantastic game. It really is. PS4. Oh my word. So many good games came out on that system. So many. Spoilt for choice. Spoilt for choice. The one I've picked should have won Game of the Year. It didn't. It came a close second. And the game that won it was, I think it was The Last of Us Part 2. And as much as I really did enjoy that game, and I thought it was a fantastic game, I think this game is better. I think this game is far superior. You can now get up. I can't get a billion words out today. You can get it on the PS5. And I think that does it puts the game into 60 frames per second, a constant 60 frames per second. You got an upscale of the graphics as well. But it's certainly one of the best games I've ever played on the PlayStation 4, and that is The Ghost of Tsushima. Oh my word. This game does everything right. It's such a beautiful game to play as well. It really is. The fighting is incredible. The searching around in that open area is just breathtakingly beautiful. It's like playing a work of art. Now, if I'm not selling this to you enough, please go and check it out. Just watch a YouTube video on it, because this is brilliant, and I do hope we get a sequel. I really do. Moving on to the Switch. I'm not a heavy collector of the Switch, not one little bit. I just can't seem to get into it. I don't know why. There's some absolute belters. If you want to play some of those classic Nintendo games, it's definitely the way to go. But I think that's the problem with it as well for me. I think it's trying to hold on to the classics, and they're just trying to sell you constantly more new money for old rope. Does that make sense? But it has got some brilliant games on it. And one I've picked, Contra, Rogue Corps. It's a game I've enjoyed. I've not played it a huge amount, but it is certainly one I've enjoyed. I mean, I know I've got that up there still. I can't remember what the hell that's even called now. But it's just a system. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why. There's plenty of big collectors out there for it. You're probably a big collector watching this. But maybe that's my problem. I've got too many systems and I'm too spoilt for choice. Right, we're down to our last generation. I haven't got a clue how long this has been going. It's probably quite easily an hour. It has to be. It has to be. We'll go with the Xbox Series X. What I like about the Xbox Series X is the fact that you can play all those older games on it. I really do like that. What I don't like is the fact that, and it's the same for the PlayStation 5, I must admit, that we're going to get another console coming out from Xbox very soon, probably next year, and that will actually give us everything that they promised they were going to deliver on the Xbox Series X. But that's exactly the same thing for the PlayStation 5. I would actually say, in fact, yeah, let's just say it, bollocks to it. I would say that this 9th generation is one of the most disappointing generations, because even though some of the games are fantastic, and I must admit that the one I've picked here for the PS5 I think is an absolute wow. It's one of the best remake games I've ever played. But on the whole, they've not delivered on what they promised. They've not. And that's a bit of a letdown. And I think they've not delivered, and we've never really felt like getting that next generation experience, because they're still making the games for the likes of the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, the Nintendo Switch. Until they drop them, you're never going to get it. But we're going to have another new console out soon, so hey ho. But anyway, Starfield. Oh, this is such a good game. Such a good game. You know, thoroughly enjoyed this so much. You know, fantastic space exploration. You can search the planets as well. You can almost do what you want. You know, is it the best game that Bethesda's ever brought out? No, is it nuts? But it's a really enjoyable game. And if you like playing Fallout and those sort of games, but you want to play something slightly different, there you go, in space. Can't get more different than that. And I've certainly enjoyed going from world to world and searching those towns and that. It's just a brilliant game. Right, my very last game. And this is by far one of the best remakes of any game I've ever played. It is a remake from a PlayStation classic. People consider that game on the original PlayStation to be probably the best, one of the best games. I would argue that Final Fantasy VIII is actually the better game, but on the PlayStation it will forever live under the shadow of Final Fantasy VII. I'm playing the Rebirth at this moment in time, so this is the second game. What more can I say about this game? It does absolutely everything right. They have upgraded absolutely everything on this, and it is an absolute joy to play. It really is. There's a lot more character in depth. You get to learn more about all the other characters. There is changes within the game, and alright, I'm a little stuck at the moment, but this is one of the best games I've ever played. You need to make more games like this. You really do. I thoroughly enjoyed the Resident Evil remake. Resident Evil 4 was fantastic. That's just absolutely brilliant. But as I've already mentioned, the leap from the 8th to the 9th generation, it's not been big enough, not for me. So it is still a little bit disappointing. Right, you'll be glad to know that's everything. If I've missed something, I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head what the hell I have missed. I'm just quickly scouring my shelves in case there is anything. I don't think there is. I think I've covered just about everything, but that felt like it went on forever. It really did. It really did. Right. Let me know your thoughts on the games I've picked. They're not the best games on those systems, excuse me, but they are fun games that I personally have enjoyed playing. And I've just got so many. I've got that many games in my back catalogue now, I actually doubt I'll ever get to complete them all. In fact, I already know that every single game that is in my collection, if I wanted to go out and start again and complete every single one, in the amount of life I have left on this planet, I will never do it. Hey ho. Right, and on that note, I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Go and check out Retro Steve. I'll put a link in his channel below. I'll catch you all again. Bye for now.
Woohoo!